Oi, gente, tudo bem? I want to talk about something that I've noticed a lot of people telling me, which is this idea of it sounds horrible when I talk, or I don't like the sound of my own voice. So I know I can relate with this. I know a lot of us can relate with this because I've heard it from a lot of you. And for some of us, it's all the time. For some of us, it's just on the bad days. For some of us, maybe we don't generally dislike our own voice, but maybe there's certain words or sounds where we're not comfortable, where we don't like the way that we feel when we say those sounds and words because we're not sure if we're saying it right and we don't like the way that feels. And maybe we try to avoid saying those sounds or words because we don't like that feeling, and it seems like a problem that we want to avoid and we just haven't dealt with yet. But in the more extreme cases, when we don't like any of how we sound, then sometimes we can end up avoiding speaking entirely. And so here's the thing: if you want to get better at language or accent or really any skill, you got to practice, right? You got to put in the repetitions. You got to, try it, and then whether you fail or succeed, come back to it again and again and again. You got to put in those repetitions, right? And here's the thing: if you don't like how you sound, if you don't like the way that you feel when you're doing these repetitions, and you start avoiding coming back to the repetitions, then you're never going to get the practice that you need, and you're actually going to be stuck with the results that you don't like. You're going to be stuck there, ironically. So the way out of that, even though you're feeling pain and shut down, the way out of that nasty loop is to become more open to the experience that you're having, even if it's a quote-unquote negative experience. If you feel ashamed, if you don't like, if you're not confident, if you don't like how you sound, whatever words it is, whatever it is inside of your head, just notice that instead of running away from it and beating yourself up mentally, this mental violence with yourself. Instead of that, be open to experience. Listen to the voices inside your head and the voice coming out of your mouth, and sit with it. Create safety for yourself. You don't have to run from those monsters, those voices in your head. You can sit with them and get to know them and listen. Listen to the voices in your head and listen to the voice that's coming out of your mouth. And when you do that, you can start to get more familiar with it. Instead of running away and pretending that these voices don't exist, you can acknowledge them and see them and listen to them and give them space and even love them, let's say, even the ugly voices. It doesn't have to be beautiful all the time. It doesn't have to be perfect. So those voices in your head, the voice that's coming out of your mouth, see, I misspeak, it's okay. Love it, right? Because that's going to be so important for progress, even when it's not perfect to start with. So, because that's the name of the game, right? We want to get better. We have some dreams, some goal we want to have. That requires progress. It requires those repetitions. It requires that practice. And in order to progress, to have progress, we need feedback. And that's why this is also important, right? Because we got to be open to the feedback, open to experience. If we're not open to the experience and we run away and try to pretend that everything's fine when it's not, then we're missing out on all that valuable information, that valuable feedback. So here's the thing. If you want to know how you sound and you want to improve how you sound in your pronunciation, your accent, your voice, whatever level, the best way to know how you sound is to listen to how you sound. As simple as that sounds, it's really that. And if you're running away from listening to how you sound, you're missing out on the most valuable source of information about where you are and how to progress. So here's my invitation for you this week. Record your voice if you're not doing this already. And if you are, still do it because you can go deeper. Record your voice and listen to your voice. Just pull out your phone, hit the voice record app, and just talk about anything. You can do it in private, and then stop it, hit play, and just listen. And no matter what feelings come up, no matter what thoughts you have about your own voice, just notice them. Don't beat yourself up. Don't run away. Just sit with it and just see how it sounds and start to get familiar with your own voice. Start to get to know it better. And if you think that you already know your voice because you already listen to it, I invite you to approach this with a beginner's mind and listen for the details that you're not yet noticing, because trust me, there are always surprises. There's always more to discover. This is so important. If you do this one thing, it can truly change how you learn pronunciation, accent, and languages. Just listen, sit with it, and go deeper. Be curious. Get to know your own voice in all of its beautiful little details. Even the ugly, imperfect ones can be beautiful. So that's my invitation for you this week. Thank you, everyone. Wherever you're at, scroll down, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this, and abraço. Até mais.